Good day, wonderful people. Today we have Katharina, who happens to be the CEO of Fresh Square company, and we are going to have a short interview with her. And the motivation behind this interview is to inspire young and aspiring entrepreneurs to learn some lessons from her, how she managed to start her business, adding up with her professional work as well as a lecturer. So, Kat, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, yeah, welcome to the
Thank
Entrepreneurship
you.
Show. Yeah,
Thank
so let's zoom into this. How long have you been in business?
A little over 7 years, well, actually 7.5 now that I think about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've seen lots of changes
Oh, great.
over the years.
Good.
Yeah.
What exactly inspired you to start your entrepreneurial journey?
That's a good question. I think there were a few different components coming together.
Okay.
I had just moved to Canada with my husband. My husband is from Canada originally,
okay.
but I'm from Germany, and
German,
we
okay.
lived in the Netherlands together. So we had
Okay.
we had moved here. I was actually very fortunate that I found a marketing job right away,
Oh, great.
like within like 3 weeks of arriving here, and I was starting. And it was a decent job, but I realized very quickly that the work environment wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I was kind of getting a little bit tired because I had been working for small and big companies, marketing. So basically helping them sell
Okay.
whatever they're
Yeah.
making. And it wasn't necessarily products that I felt like I could stand behind. So I was getting
That's
a little...
with your values, right?
Yeah, that aligned
Okay.
with my values.
Okay,
Like I
great.
did a lot in like consumer electronics or cards or beauty and makeup, and it's just like it's things I don't mind, but I have a bit more of an environmentalist view maybe, and it just wasn't providing me with that satisfaction anymore. So because I had learned so much about like even just putting a website together and optimizing it, like in my previous work experience, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can do this myself, and then focus on products that I really believe in, that I stand behind, and I can set up a business. That the goal was to sort of like minimize the harmful impacts it has, because like if you have a company, there's so many aspects to it, from supply chain to like how you're operating, how you're treating employees, and so on. So I just felt like the time was right to give this a go. But at the same time, I wasn't ready to invest a lot. We didn't really have much savings or anything like that. So yeah, I thought of this idea for Fair Square, which is a vegan grocery store. It all started out as an online store because I felt like that was a way I could do it without a physical location. I can
block and mortar.
Yeah, so we ran it out of a house, which there's an important thing to learn is like you do need approval from your health board depending on where you are located. Like in Canada, which municipality, they all have different rules. But I was good to do that from a house, so I saved up a little bit of money to order initial inventory, and I worked on like putting my website together, and I just spent, I don't even remember how much it was. It was probably like $2,000 on products, and I was like, okay, now I have to sell them somehow. So I have to make sure people discover my website. I started setting up a social media presence, and what really helped in the beginning was to attend local events in like the areas that we like. Even though I was shipping Canada wide, like I can't travel to Calgary to do an event, right? So you do what you can in your area, like really work with a small budget, and just it's at the beginning of a business, you either put in a lot of money or you put in a lot of time.
Yeah, that's true.
Or both, sometimes both. But I didn't have much money, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put in a lot of time and like do these events on the weekends. I didn't have my daughter yet, right? So it was and my husband was helping me. So it's a true family business, like many startups are, many small businesses are. That's somehow how I get started.
Great. So with what you just said, let's say a young lady is also in an organization, and this person actually also is not all that okay with the values, or like he or she, the person also has some kind of inspiration. She has something burning within her to initiate. Will you advise they taking that quantum leap?
Yeah, because I feel like I mean I did the big step of like I just quit my job. Because for me it was like I don't want to be in this position anymore, and I want to like really dedicate all my time to it. But what you find, like what a lot of entrepreneurs do, is they start a little side hustle while they still work in their full-time position, right? And see how that grows, and at some point maybe take the leap of, you know, now it's time to quit my job so I can fully focus on that. That's if you're a little bit more risk averse in that sense, and the company you're working for is not clashing too much with your own values. That's a good way to do it. For me, it was just I needed to draw a line, and I never quit my job before. I've always been a person very committed to like who I'm working with, who I'm working for. But it felt like the right thing to do at the time.
It's very inspiring. So it brings me to this. Now that people feel like we have kind of job security, people are always looking for job security. And you've been there. You've been in the corporate sector, you've been in the entrepreneurial side. Comparatively. There is a view, there is someone watching us who is in a state of a dilemma now. And wants to know, what will you tell my viewer that wants to make such a decision?
It's a tough one. Because there's very little security when you start the entrepreneur journey, right? And that is one of the big things you really need to consider. Like I feel like for me, I was only able to do this because my husband was there helping me and bringing in some money for our family. And like we've always supported each other. Like while we lived in the Netherlands, I worked and he went to school and he did his bachelor's degree. So it was sort of like my turn, you know, for me to like do something, and he supports me. So if you have that, I feel like you're maybe a little bit more willing to take that risk. Entrepreneurship is a journey is the word, and it's a lot of ups and downs.
That's true.
And it's very, depending on what you do, it can be years until you start making a proper income with it, right? And then getting like health benefits or retirement savings, that's a whole other thing, right? Like I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs do it because they're passionate about something. Some do it in the hopes of making this company big and then selling it, and that way like cashing out. It depends what you're in it for. But if you're a person that really prefers security, entrepreneurship might not be your trajectory. Or you just do it as the side business, but then it's limited in like how it can grow, right? Because then you'll naturally only have a few hours a week that you can put into it.
Okay, that's wonderful. So to bring our short interview to an end, what would be your greatest advice to any young aspiring entrepreneur, or even someone who is not still in any entrepreneurial aspect that feels like giving up? What would be your advice to that person?
For getting started, it's maybe two separate things. For getting started, I would say like just do it. Just find a way that like where you're maybe not spending too much money. Find a small way to get started with your idea. It might just be an Instagram account where you post about the topic that you're passionate about, and that can grow into something. Or you're good at putting websites together, so you do that, or you do a blog, or whatever you're doing, a little podcast, a little show, something like that, right? Just get started with it. I feel like what held me back a lot, I'm very much, or used to be, very much a perfectionist. I'm working on that now, because what I've learned is that like my own standards to myself are incredibly high, and no one else knows that idea that I have in my mind. So other people look at what I'm doing and they're like, wow, this is amazing. But in your head you build it up like it needs to be this grand, and everything needs to be 100% perfect. No, just get started, and you improve as you go. If I look at like what my website looked like 7 years ago, it was nothing like it does today. It's like you learn and you grow and you evolve, and a lot of times you need to make changes that you didn't expect. So just get started, and then for someone who feels like giving up, that's entrepreneurship. You got to stick with it. It's a long game. Like what the news or media likes to talk about, the overnight success, it is rarely an overnight success.
I like that.
Often people have worked for years and years, and just all of a sudden things click into place and the attention gets on them, and it looks like, oh, they went from, like it's the classic Steve Jobs Apple story, from the garage of the parents' house to multi-billion-dollar company. Like, it's not that. It's a long journey. It's meeting the right people, being open to new ideas, to meeting new people, and open to change, because you never know what comes at you. Like, nobody foresaw a pandemic. A lot of businesses that had their brick and mortar location really struggled. For me, it was the magic pill, almost, because I had a web store set up, and all of a sudden everyone wanted to order online, and my orders went through the roof. Was I prepared for that? No. And I was overwhelmed, and I was very close to burning out at some point. But you need to keep going. It's a long game.
So which means, with what you said, when preparation comes in contact with opportunities, then that's success. So that's actually about work for you. Okay, so you have free space to advertise. Tell our audience about your business and how they can be able to reach out to you.
I'll make it really short. So my business is called Fair Square. You can shop online. If you're in Canada, we ship almost everywhere. fairsquare.ca, or if you're anywhere in southwestern Ontario and would like to take a little trip to Woodstock, Ontario, I have the brick and mortar store there. I would love to see you at some point.
All right, thank you, Kat.
Thank you so much for interviewing me. It was a pleasure. Thanks.